Hey everybody, Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notify button so you'll know when you're getting new episodes. And we just want to grow this project. I thank you in advance. Without further ado, let's get it rolling. The Shout Out Show.
All right, everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's me, your host, Preacher Monster, host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show. I want to get some housekeeping things in order. First of all, I want to give a shout out to little sis Riri. Make sure you feel better. Make sure you put her in praise, everybody. Sister Wallens, I want you to make sure that you keep her in your prayers. I haven't had a chance to talk to her, but as soon as we get a chance, I'm going to reach out, and I hope you're going to be feeling better, everybody. That's number one. Number two is, if this is your first time coming on the Shout Out Show, let me tell you the rules. You are officially family. We want you to come here all the time and feel like you have a right to be here, and we want to engage you appropriately. We want to make sure that we give you a quality product so that you don't feel like you wasted your time. So that's number one. Number two is, for all the other people, all the other SOS family shout out heads, listen to what I'm saying. Shout out heads, you know I appreciate you coming on the show. It's not a show without you. So without you, it's not a show. So that's number two. And we're switching some things up here. I'm happy to say that we're going to have a guest on tomorrow, an amazing guest, and it will begin a cycle of amazing guests that we're going to have on. We're going to have Imam Zaid back on. We're going to have my main man Umar from Encourage out in LA. I got to have him on. And we're going to have a whole lot of people that you may not have thought Preach knew, and I probably didn't. We just got lucky and got them to come on the show. So listen, it's all barakah. It's all love, and that's the thing we want to talk about. All love. So today's show, the Friday Funnies, I have to give it a theme. The Friday Funny today is, brothers and sisters, home economics. When I say home economics, I'm talking about not actually when you home. I'm talking about when you got home and you realized that the mortgage or the amount of hours you worked for 2 weeks all of a sudden is not going to work out. I'm talking about the paycheck coming up short. And like my grandfather said, it's not that my paycheck came up short, son. I knew it was going to come up short. I'm talking about the love that we had in the house when it wasn't about money. I'm talking about fish on fire in the kitchen, beans on burn on the grill. I'm talking before you get up the hill, brothers and sisters. I'm talking pre-Jefferson. I'm talking about good times, hanging in a child line. That is the essence of what we are missing today. And what I find is people don't understand, how to struggle. You don't know how to struggle. People don't understand syrup sandwiches, mayonnaise sandwiches. And when I say that, folks, I'm not talking about being poor. I'm talking about making do. When I say making do, I'm talking about making do. You didn't have all the internet. You didn't have all the social media. That was back when you had to talk to somebody. Here's a prime example of home economics. Somebody came to borrow a cup of sugar from you, and you gladly gave it to them. And then when you went to make your Kool-Aid, you said, oh my gosh, we ain't got no sugar. I gave that person my last sugar. That's home economics, brothers and sisters. I'm talking about when the worst kind of broke you could be. The worst kind of broke you could be is when you're broke and you see somebody that you loan money to and they got money, and before you can get it back from them, they spend it and they tell you, you should have told me, I just spent it, and that means that they broke too. And I'm going to tell you something. There's a rhythm in the flow, but there's also a class. Now, hear what I'm saying, folks. I'm not saying being poor. I'm not saying being poor. Peer poor is a condition. I'm talking about the situation thing where you go, whoa, right now I'm broke. And when I say that, I mean it in a way by we got by. We really, really, really got by. Like, I remember my parents worked for the government. I remember, the government shut down a couple times. And I remember watching my mom and dad try to hold it together, thinking that I didn't know. My father gave me a look one time when he was temporarily out of work from the government. He gave me a look one time when I was eating a sandwich. And the look he gave me was like, you just gonna eat that sandwich like that on board. That's the look he gave me. Brother, he looked at me and said, every time your elbow bends, your mouth fly open. Did you realize that? In that situation, he made me laugh. He laughed, but I ate that sandwich. My point is, with everything that's going on, brothers and sisters, everything that's going on, it's already happened before. It's already happened before. Job loss, people being sick, it's happened before. It's just that we've gotten so accustomed to all the shortcuts that make our lives easier that essentially, we don't know how to cope. You want to watch people cope? You want to watch people cope? Look at college folks. Remember when you were in college? Your home economics were bad because you weren't even home. You were in college. We were the worst managers of money, but we knew how to get out there and hustle. You're talking about student loans, trying to pay for your classes. I'm talking about a general grind, brothers and sisters. I'm talking about people who can figure out. You ever read those things? A package, it says serve search amount. It's a serves 4 people. Remember the day you would look at it, it served 4 people, knowing that it had to serve like 12? And you didn't fret. Here's the thing. We knew that whatever it was mom and dad were doing for us, or grandma were doing for us, they were doing their absolute best. Meaning that they were going to take it to a situation we never even saw before. I've seen my mother pray over food when we didn't necessarily, we weren't broke, don't get me wrong, but the margins were thin. The margins were thin. And when I say margins were thin, I'm talking about, hey, I know this is gonna sound bad one time, man. I was in college and I was so broke I had to lay off my shadow, brothers and sisters. This is how broke I was. This is why I'm Muslim. I was so broke in college, I went to a Catholic service because I heard they were serving real bread. I didn't really want the wine. The wine didn't taste so well, but they served real, and the bread was good. Not the wafers. I'm like, when they break the loaf, if people didn't rat me out, I would have gone back in that line to go get some more of that bread. I mean, it's blessed bread. You know what I'm saying? But furthermore, I'm talking about how we got through things. And the way we got through things was whatever the situation was, however dire it was, whatever emergency was, my mother and my father and my grandmother, we always realized that it could always be worse. When I say it could always be worse, it could always be worse. My grandmother's neighborhood, I don't even know if I should tell this story. My grandmother's neighborhood was interesting. We had a good mix of elderly Southern folks, and then we had a really good mix of dysfunction. When I say dysfunction, I mean dysfunction. Like you sit on your porch and you can watch the whole evolution of the neighborhood either go up or go down. And what was interesting is that even in that scenario, my grandmother would make me watch. My grandfather would make me watch. And what they told us was there are choices in life. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You ever go to church when your home economics was bad? But particularly when you were a kid, remember, go to church, your grandmother would give you $1 to put into the collection plate. And you knew how much you wanted to hold on to that dollar. I was like, I wonder if this old lady is watching me because I believe I can palm this dollar just like Malcolm X palmed that bullet in the movie I'm talking about. But my point is, brothers and sisters, I felt a kinship. I felt a brotherhood or a fellowship because we were all trying to get somewhere. And this is really important. We were all trying to get somewhere, and we're trying to get there honestly. You see what I'm saying? Like the struggle was real. Like the problem today is the struggle ain't real. People yell out struggle, but here's the deal. Back in the day, you didn't yell out struggle if you weren't willing to work. People aren't necessarily willing to work these days. And that sense of community, I'm not saying it's gone. I'm saying that it needs work before it actually returns back to what it used to be. I'm talking about, remember all the jobs you guys did when you wanted to make money back in the day? Remember the job you guys did? I remember when I was a kid, I wanted money. My grandfather looked at me and my mother looked at me like, you got legs? You ever heard that before? You got legs, you got feet, you got a back. I'm like, is this a biology lesson? I just want to borrow $1. But what you learned from those conversations was your parents, your grandparents, your aunties, your uncles, everybody was in their own way struggling and grinding to preserve or protect a way of living. And I'm not saying people are soft now, but there's a lot of people that are soft. I mean, there's a lot of people that are soft. I'm 53 years old. If the world ended right now and I couldn't tell jokes, I couldn't do creative things, I couldn't do production. I literally, when COVID hit, I went to my garage and I stared at my lawnmower. Now, keep in mind now, we have somebody that cuts our lawn. But I was like, if I had to fire this guy, I was like, could I push that lawnmower and not stroke out in my backyard? That was the question. Could I push the lawnmower? And then it was like, could I actually go out here and compete to cut lawns if all the money was cut off? That's how deep I carried this thing, brothers and sisters. And you know what? In my mind, I was like, I could do it if I had to. I could do it if I had to. And that comes from a sense of humility, not mine, not my ability. I'm talking about watching your pioneers in your family, your elders in your family, your leaders in your family, because those folks come from a whole nother situation. One of my favorite comedians is Red Fox. Let me tell you guys why Red Fox is one of my favorite comedians. First of all, he was funny. He was probably the most lyrical comedian that's ever been out there. No shade to any comedians out there, but Red Fox was the most lyrically gifted comedian, best timing, hands down. But he had a hard life. When I say he had a hard life, his mother left him in St. Louis, Missouri to go get married. He and his brother had to go find her. Now, this is children. This ain't no adult. They had to go find her in Chicago, and they spent time in Milwaukee. And this guy constantly grinded. And that was a hallmark of his life. He led an extremely hard life. Everybody's seen him on, the Flip Wilson show. Everybody's seen him on, Sanford and Son. But the interesting part was this guy, until he broke it, lived an extremely hard life. Now, I never got a chance to talk to Red Fox or meet Red Fox. But what he said was interesting. He said that even when times got hard, he said he knew hard times. And what he knew about hard times was that there were always people to remind him that times could be harder. Now, brothers and sisters, I believe in that. As a religious person, as a spiritual person, I believe that struggle is good. Struggle has its place. I've learned as a Muslim that when things don't go my way, I've learned to shut my mouth and just pray it into reality, pray it into existence. I don't like something. I don't sit there and brood about it. And when you don't do that, you become grateful. So here's the deal. Gratitude is the thing that kept us going when things didn't go well back in the day. In the same way it kept us going back in the day, it's the same way it should keep us going now. So before we talk about COVID and the job situation, do you have your health? Is your family healthy? Do you have an option to send your kids to school? Or better yet, let them do at-home schooling? Is it a sense of pride that with everything going on, you individually are doing okay. And the blessing is that you know other people who are doing okay. And the bigger blessing is for the people that aren't doing okay, you don't have any problem going out and helping those people. That's the beauty of this thing right now. That's what we're missing. You know, I'm mad. I ain't gonna lie to you. There's been times when I was a comedian when it didn't go well. Not at all. I talk about home economics, brothers and sisters. You may see me do all it made me funny or whatever, but there were times. I remember I did a gig one time. I drove down, dang going near to Birmingham, Alabama, got to the club in time to watch the fire department put the club out, put the fire out in the club. Where I'm working, imagine me looking at the address. I get there and the place is on fire. I needed that money, brothers and sisters. I needed it. And I didn't call home. I slept in my car. I realized the nuances of how you can pay a quarter and take a shower at the bus at the truck stop. And I talked with all the other truckers about how they do, and I learned how to sleep in my car. And I had just enough money to get back. Now it came in really handy because I had another gig in Oklahoma. Almost the same thing happened. The hotel I was supposed to stay in was condemned. They didn't give us another place to stay, but you know what? I sat there going, in the process of my mind, I thought about Birmingham. I said, you know, the beauty about Birmingham, even though the club burned down and I needed that money, was I could have been messing around, could have been in that club, and it could have set on fire. You see what I'm saying? And even in Oklahoma, I said, even though I can't stay in a hotel, at least I have the companionship and the brotherhood of these truckers who is telling me how to sleep in my car, save a little money, and make sure you don't stink and still get to the club. That's real talk. So as we go through this whole COVID thing, I encourage everybody, to think back, not just a week ago, a year ago, think back to when you were children and marvel at how your mother and father, your grandmother, your grandfather, your aunts and uncles, how they navigated difficult situations. You know, I mean, my home economics was so bad, brothers and sisters. I'm not gonna lie. In college, I was broken in the Ten Commandments, brothers and sisters. I remember I was so broke. I sold blood, and I sold it in one place, and sat outside another blood bank, drinking water, thinking that the water would give me more blood and I could donate. Because I was trying to go out that weekend. Long story short, I was way too tired to go out that weekend. But I'm just talking about what you do, brothers and sisters. Think about the times you had cereal and no milk. Hmm? The time you had Kool-Aid and no sugar. I'm gonna make sure my cousins aren't over here. Listen, there was a time I was down in Danville, Virginia with my cousins, and we didn't have a whole lot of money. We were struggling, but we cut grass, and my uncle gave us a little bit of money, and we were so happy. And we went up to this corner store, and the whole thing was we were trying to be strategic about the candies we bought, but more importantly, what our beverage was going to be. So we bought these packages of Kool-Aid, brothers and sisters, and I'm like, oh, we're going to get some Kool-Aid because I've been dying for Kool-Aid. I'm like, we're going to get some Kool-Aid, we got some candy, we're going to watch some movies. My older cousin, Earl, nickname Man, he goes, I'm going to make the Kool-Aid. I'm going to make the Kool-Aid. And I'm like, and not like people conferred degrees on making Kool-Aid. It's like water, Kool-Aid, sugar, right? I said, all right, my brother, go ahead. And I kicked back and I had my Three Musketeer. I'm eating. He brought down the Kool-Aid. The pitcher was frosted. He had put it in the refrigerator. The Kool-Aid was cold. You could see the sweat on the side of the. I'm happy, brother and sister. I am happy. And he poured me a big glass, and I'm like, thank you, cousin. It was almost like we were drinking alcohol. I was like, thank you, cousin. And I took a sip of it and almost spit it on the floor. I said, where the sugar at? He said, it's a lot of sugar in there. I said, no, it ain't. He said, it's a lot of sugar. I said, bring the sugar down. He brought the sugar down, brothers. It was sweet and low. I was like, dude, I'm 9 years old. I don't have any diabetes, but why the heck are we drinking sweet and low? But then you realize my Aunt Shirley had a problem with her kidneys. See how it is? And I'm like, I would have never known. And she never told us. But just that little thing. And I'm not telling anybody if you make Kool-Aid to put sweet and low. And if you do that, that's your problem. You wasted your money. But you never know how people are living. So be respectful of that too. And we're going to take a short break. Actually, not a short break at all. Um, I want to give you some B-roll for tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show, we're going to have Sister Rakia with the she has this amazing project. I'm going to show the trailer, and so just hold on a minute. Just hold on a minute, if you guys don't mind. I'm going to show you guys the trailer. So please hold on. She has a flower pot project, and she's going to be talking about it tomorrow.
Your neighborhood might soon look a little bit more beautiful thanks to forgiveness and healing. Medical reporter Liz Bonus introduces us to the Flower Pot Project and the powerful story behind it.
Hey, hello to you. Two mothers whose lives were touched by tragedy in different ways hope to share a powerful message while making our city a bit more beautiful. Both admit, however, it's been quite a journey of growth.
The journey actually started on June 28th at 10:30 at night in 2015.
Ruqayya Abdul Matakali says the last time anyone saw her son Suleiman was right before he was murdered by two teenagers on a late-night walk to buy dinner.
What shocked me more than anything, when I saw even the little bit of clipping that it had on the video, is that they walked away. They didn't run. They walked away and he was still alive.
Believe it or not, this is the mother of one of those teenagers. Javon Coulter was 14 at the time.
Did you just call her one of your best friends?
Yeah, she's one of my best friends.
You see, forgiveness is a powerful thing. Not only in court did Ruqayya tell Javon she forgave him, she told his mother she felt nothing but love for him.
It meant a lot, and it still do mean a lot because I lost so much, and she's like the only person I had right now, and I love her.
Together, with the help of many others you see here at the Crone Conservatory, they are about to launch a program that they expect will be one of the largest to ever blanket our community in beauty. It is called the Flower Pot Project.
It represents the slain on these streets and saving our children.
Each flower pot will have a QR code that shares a unique story of love and loss. It will invite you to perhaps solve a crime or prevent suicide. Here's Community Engagement Coordinator Mary Watkins.
My vision is to make sure we live and not die. And if it can be beautiful as well, then that's a plus.
Those involved in the planning say it has been life-changing.
Do we know how many pots we're planning to have?
Well, I think we're going to have to start off with about 1,000.
Mary Langford has detailed Suleiman's legacy as the editor of Lost, Survive, Thrive for Grieving Parents.
The whole purpose of this book is to show that life can go on.
And not just go on, Ruqayya says, but grow and thrive.
Life brings light. Flowers bring light. These beautiful flowers in here, you walk in here and you start feeling better about everything, even when you're feeling bad. Flowers do that.
For the mother of the young man who took a life,
It means hope. It means hope for the better of somebody else's child, that they won't go down that path.
and for the mother of the son who was lost, the Flower Pot Project is perhaps a beautiful lesson for all of us in
Humility, mercy, grace.
and inspiration that perhaps only grows with trials that teach us to nurture each other. If you'd like to help support this team, we do have a link to the Flower Pot Project at local12.com. No word yet on how soon we might be seeing these pots of hope and healing around our community. We'll throw it back to you.
Flowers are peaceful, and we thank those women for sharing their story.
Yeah, very powerful there.
This weekend, you can hop in your car and go on a drive through.
So I just wanted to share that, guys. Share that with you because it's so easy to lose perspective. So, in a departure of how we normally do things, tomorrow that will be our guest. I'm going to ask everybody to tune in and hear her story and hear that idea that we were talking about. You know, for lack of a better word, we were talking about how we got through. And so part of today's show is really understanding how we got through. And I think it was amazing. Let me give a shout out. Miss Eleanor, thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right. Naeem Sharif, peace and blessings to you. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we hope that everybody can tune in tomorrow. It'll be great. I'm really happy. I'm really happy to have this guest on. So that's tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Central, 3 p.m. on the West Coast. So we're going to keep this short today. And the reason we keep it short is I really want people to get out and appreciate having a Friday, appreciate getting to the weekend. It doesn't matter, you know, how you're doing, what your money looks like. I talk about home economics. You know, home economics is really about home environment. And I hope everybody can learn to appreciate their home environment just a little bit, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. All right. So listen, you guys have been great. I appreciate you. I hope to see you tomorrow. Tune in because I think I think the show's taking a different type of trajectory. It's still going to be fun. We're going to enjoy it, but every once in a while, you got to have somebody that reminds you of the humility that makes us better people. All right. So big ups to you. Have a great weekend. If you just came on, don't forget to hit that like button, brothers and sisters. Don't forget to hit that like button. Appreciate you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hey everybody, this is your brother Preacher Moss. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your shout out show experience. We'll be back with the next show, the next shout out show. Simple ask before you go, please help your brother out. Click that subscribe button, click that notify button, and I'll see you again on this side of the microphone. You probably wonder what that smell is. That's me. I smell good. And the reason I smell good is because I use oils from Tarifa Tar. So I'm not saying you can't smell good. I'm not even saying you stink. I'm saying you have the opportunity to smell exquisite. Check out tarifatar.com for some of the best oils and scents in town.